everybody, it's Sue here from Sue's Design, and today we're talking about the dining room, okay? So I finished the kitchen, which is like unbelievable. I still can't believe that I did the kitchen. It's amazing. If you didn't watch the video, please go after this one, go watch that because you're gonna love it. This is going to be the dining room, okay? And I actually didn't have bigger plans before. I was planning only pretty much paint this room white, put a sideboard here and call it a day. I wasn't even planning work on the stairs. But then I kept going, and I couldn't stop. And I'm so excited for this space because even though it's empty right now, this place is going to bring friends, family, and I'm very excited about the view. So the stairs was with carpet, and I really don't like carpet, okay? But I wasn't planning on removing the carpet because for us, the stairs is part of the upstairs makeover. So I wasn't planning on doing this until like maybe next year. But then I was like, okay, I started working on the dining room and I started looking the carpet on the stairs. And I couldn't get over, like I couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. But I decided one day that I was going to remove all the carpet and see what is underneath. When you move into this place, when you bought this place, this was a big room, which for us just felt like a warehouse. Before I share the stairs, let me go back to the beginning. I started removing the trim and baseboards so I could take care of the walls. I was planning skin coat everything, and first I wanted to start with the mess. I filled the gaps with drywall and mud. I also wanted to close all the stairs, like this gap, a huge gap for example. I thought it was very weird to have that first place. The other side of the gap had some bricks, but was not placed nicely. Some areas didn't even have any. So I wanted to cover those bricks with drywall as well. In the meantime, I built a new wall with an arch, and I'm not covering in this video, but I made a video before sharing about the other wall that I built if you want to check it out. Okay, to close the gap and cover the bricks, I decided to use drywall, and I will share how I did this process in more details in my next video, where I will start sharing about the front room transformation. After the huge gap was closed for the outside, I decided to work on the inside. The process was similar to the other built-in I shared a few months ago. If you want more details about that, please check the video after this one because I covered everything. The only difference here from the other recessed bookcase that I built a while ago is this piece of wood that I'm adding here. This will bring the recessed wall the same height of the doorway that you see on the left side. After everything was built and drywalled, I added mud and everything. I spent about 3 days between mud and sanding until it was smooth. I was also working on the kitchen wall as well at that point, so it was a lot of work. On top of that, all the walls besides the one in the what's going to be the bench had wall texture, so I was also skin coating everything. After the wall sanding was done, I painted everything extra white like the rest of the house. I just want to take a moment here and talk to you about how it's really hard for me to put myself up there and share everything that I'm doing in a house, but I'm very happy to share my working journey and my DIY home improvement and home makeover for you guys. So I really appreciate if you guys can just hit the subscribe button so you can help me grow and make me bring more good videos, content for you guys. I have been looking at the carpet stair for too long like this. That's why it's bothering me. This is my first time doing. I'm not going to remove this fully right now because this is part of the upstairs and I'm not ready to work on upstairs yet. Take my cutter and I'm going to cut. I'm not sure if this is actually even, I think so, maybe. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. I hurt my back a few days ago, so I'm not even sure if I'm putting the right pressure because I'm trying to, and then I pull. Seems pretty easy so far. Okay, and this, pretty easy. I thought it would be a little bit harder. And then we have this pad, and I'm going to remove the pad as well. By the way, just be careful because he has a lot of, like, I don't know if it's nails, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's really sharpy. So be careful, always use the gloves. And this stuff here, I'm going to throw away, I'm going to put in the garbage. And then you pretty much need to keep moving down. Now that I remove all the carpet, now I clean everything, and now I have this stuff here. For this, I'm going to use my pry bar. This is the smaller one I have here. I used to remove baseboards and it works well, but I feel like if you're going to buy something, maybe buy something a little bit smaller. As you can see by my shirt and hair, after a lot of sanding, I paint everything. White I used to paint the risers and the sides, and because I have a lot of leftover paint from floors, I used to paint the steps. So it's been really hard for me to use my tools in the shop. Unfortunately, my shop it's just like everything is everywhere. Everything I have been building in this house, I'm trying to only use my track saw and my miter saw. So this structure here from the stairs is not like the best structure ever. This is the only footage I have from this bench, unfortunately, but I added plywood and more 2x4. I also finished the floors before so I could start wrapping the bench and steps. So I have to finish the floors first and then start putting the floors on the bench after that. Perfect! So after testing to see if everything would fit, it was time to actually stone the floors. I used mostly liquid nails for everything except for the ends. For the ends, I use a combination of liquid nails and some brand nails just to make sure it would stay in place. So far, it's really good. I tried to make miter cuts to make perfect wrap on the ends, but I don't know if it's because this is a floating floor or it's because nothing in this straight in this house. I could not make the miters perfect, and because I was wasting too many floors, I decided to go to the plan B, which was adding the trim on the ends. So I kept going. Now I was starting to adding the laminate on the bench. So first I did on the top of the bench, and then later on I did on the on the front of the bench where it's going to meet the floors. For the trim, I am using red oak corner trim. It was pretty easy to install, use liquid nails and brad. Some tight corners like this one, I use my multi-tool to make those type of cuts, and was pretty easy. Honestly, the multi-tool, it's like my best friend, really. I used my chisel to clean it up. Was not perfect, but with the wood filler, would be. And then after that, I had to mix the stain to get into an almost perfect color since my floors has different shades. At this point, my husband got a serious injury and I had to make the stairs safe for him. So I used some scrappy wood white oak that I already had and sand smooth, and I use as a temporary handrail for the stairs. So first, I use a tape. I put a tape on the stairs just to make sure what I want. Then I found the studs with that, and I actually screw on the tape. I brought the tape to the piece of wood so it would transfer the where I did the holes, so not have to, because it was like a big piece of wood, guys. So I had to kind of make it easier for me. So then all those little holes that you see is where the studs are on the wall. So I use a drill bit, like a skinny one first, to make all the holes. Then with a Forstner bit, I drilled to make the screw go deeper. And to install in the wall was so easy with this tape hack. This may not be the most practical handrail ever, but for someone that didn't even want one, I think this is good enough for me. I tested out and make sure it could support his weight and it's not going anywhere. Then I want to bring a little bit of fun to this room, and I decided that I want to add some slats. Because we have a small stairs, I could not put slats all the way down. Scrappy wood oak, made a drilling jig to make sure all the holes are the same, and I started screwing into the side of the stairs. Didn't show in this video, but on top it has a gap in the wall. I screw a horizontal piece of wood into the studs and then screw the slats on that piece of wood. Don't know why I missed recording that. For the spaces, I use a scrap piece, and I felt like I play a little bit with the spaces, and I did what I thought was good.
And it was time for the final touches and the baseboards. My walls are now straight, as you can see, but instead of using caulking first, since the gap is pretty big, I added mud first because after it's dry, it's pretty easy to sand. Then, if I have this small gap, like 1/8 of an inch, maybe I would use only caulking. But when the gap are big like this, I prefer use the mud. Then, once it's dry, I sand everything, and if I need to add caulking, I do. If I don't, I just paint everything, and honestly, it looks really nice. Are you ready to see the after?
So that's it. This is the end of the video, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this. And if you did, please like. See you in the next one.